This week on Family Tech Weekly, Android's new Instant Apps feature could undermine your monitoring software.
And Tumblr installs a new adult content on Switch.
And I'm going to tell you how to get what you want out of most of your social media timelines. Hello and welcome to Family Tech Weekly. Before we get rolling, I just want to remind you about FamilyTechBlog.com. That's where this podcast is located. That's where you can go to learn all of the new great things about what's happening in technology and how it applies to your family. And I'm Michael, by the way, and this is my wife,
Melinda.
That's Melinda, and we are your hosts for Family Tech Weekly. Follow us on Instagram, the Facebooks. Watch this on YouTube. You can watch it on Facebook as well. And please go to iTunes and search Family Tech Weekly and find our podcast there. You can also find it in the links on the show notes. And just subscribe. And if you don't mind, leave us a review. If you like the show a lot, leave a 4 or 5 star review. If you don't like it at all, go ahead and leave a review if you want, I guess. Whatever, if you want. But we're just trying to help you out, so don't be mean, okay? Don't be mean. But please do that, because it will help us a lot if you leave reviews. It gets the podcast in front of more people, and so it'll help us help you and your friends. So your friends, your kids' friends' parents need this podcast as much as you do. So go help them find it. So anyway, I'm going to start with a couple of quick news hits that don't deserve like a full-on conversation, but there's something you might want to know. So it's going to start with Twitter and Hulu. They are launching live television, basically. They've struck some deals with some major TV corporations like ABC, which would mean ESPN and Disney, with Viacom and some places like that. And they're doing just all the time streaming television on Twitter and on Hulu. And so that's going to be rolling out over the next little while. And so just keep that in mind and understand that if your kid's on Twitter, if your kid has a Hulu account, then some of the TV that they're not just necessarily going and streaming on demand, but it's just whatever is on is going to be available on those apps. And that means they're going to be available most likely on the smart TV apps and that sort of thing as well. The second thing I want to tell you about is we talked a couple weeks ago about Amazon Free Time, which is you bought a Kindle Fire Kids Edition and it gave free time available on it. Well, just this week they announced that they're launching that for Android. So you're going to be able to use the Kindle app on your Android and you can subscribe to free time on that and use that to help your kids only see curated books and videos and things like that. So you can check out that post at FamilyTechBlog.com. That's where we wrote about that, and there's a lot more details in that and on last week's or the couple weeks ago podcast. So that's it. But I want to start with talking about Android's new Instant Apps feature. Okay. And how it works. Okay, so tell me real quick what I recommend parents do when their kids are going to be just sitting using their phones and stuff. How do I recommend them treat their kids?
This is a test.
This is a test. What do I say? I always say 2 things. I say you need to somehow get your
eyes on it.
And if you can't have your eyes on it, you need something that's going to block it or filter it or report to you what it is. Well, this new Instant Apps update that Android has done can possibly undermine some of that monitoring stuff. Because here's how it works. You're going to share an article with me from within an app. Say Tumblr, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. So you send me a picture from Tumblr. Well, I don't have the Tumblr app. And if there's something inappropriate in that picture and I open it and it goes to my browser is going to report it to my parents that I saw it. But in Instant Apps, it will open in a light version, basically Lite, light version of the app that does not have to be installed and quite possibly, most likely, will not be reported on any monitoring software. So you send me a picture, some of the news feeds or whatever from Tumblr that have inappropriate stuff on them, which Tumblr's loaded with it. We're going to talk about that next. But you send me that, and so I look at that, and I hit the link, and it just pops up, and there I see it. I saw something that my parents would not have liked, and I closed it down, and my parents never knew about it because it just opened in that soft version of the app. So the key there is, and I show you, I put a screenshot of the settings and how to do this. Actually, I use the image that Google has for how to set this up, but you can turn off instant apps on the Android devices, on their Android devices. You can turn it off. So I recommend you do that, because imagine the consequences.
Yeah.
Of just like being able to send kids. Can you imagine kids like taking advantage of that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially if you are monitoring their stuff and they know that, and they are the kind of kid who wants to be rebellious still, they're going to find ways, and that would be a way to do that.
Exactly. And they're going to know that, I don't have to install this app, because a lot of our monitoring software, I just helped somebody with that today. A lot of our monitoring software, it looks at what apps are installed and sometimes even asks permission. So it'll send the parents a notice and say, hey, they're trying to install this app. Do you want to allow that? Well, if it's not having to install the app to see the content, then you're totally messing that up. So go to familytechblog.com, and just last week I wrote this article about how to turn that off. So instant apps are not available. Remember, you don't want them to use instant apps. It's a bad idea.
And this is an extra app, or it is a setting on the device?
It's a setting built into the operating system of Android. Now, there aren't a lot of developers using it yet. It's not like every app out there is going to have an instant version. And Android's not providing, it's something they have to write into the code for their app individually. It's not something that Android just does. But there are apps like Tumblr and things like that are already doing that. Because what it means is it's a portal between the user and downloading that app that maybe wouldn't have before. Yeah. So think of it in the good use terms. So I want us to buy something on Amazon. I send you a link to it from the Amazon app, because Amazon's one that already has it available. I send you a link from the Amazon app, and you don't have the Amazon app. You do, but you pretend you don't. And so when you tap that link, it's going to show you, instead of opening in your mobile browser and doing all this, it's going to show you the mobile version. And you can, most of the time, you'll be able to make the purchase and all that stuff straight from that app version instead of the website, even though you didn't download the app. Yeah. So the whole idea is increasing conversions and sales, increasing downloads of the app, because they can put a link in there to say, hey, you like this? Download the whole app.
Right.
So, so I see why they're doing it. It's not a bad thing.
No, it's just a way.
Exactly. It's good. It's one of those things that can be turned into a workaround for how we try to protect our kids. So just be mindful of that. I would just turn it off on your kids' phones, because
there's really probably not a reason that they need it.
No, not really. And it's a feature that's helpful for the advertisers, the developers of the apps, and convenient for you if it's something that's an issue. But your kid's not concerned about buying stuff on Amazon or whatever.
But if it allows them to open up Musical.ly or something like that on the uninstall list,
yeah, exactly. So I would recommend that you turn it off, and really, I wouldn't even tell your kids it's a thing, because it's not like they're probably reading the latest articles about it. So I would turn it off. But so that's what I would do on the Android Instant Apps update. Kill it. So the next topic is a tough one, and it's actually it's now the most popular article on our blog, on our site, and it is the porn on switch on Tumblr. It's really the safe search off switch, but So first off, let's talk about Tumblr, because Tumblr has become the pornography GIF central, or GIF, depending on whatever.
I saw a meme today that said, "What if the G is silent?"
Oh, it's if. What if it's if?
If.
What if the word is if? So there's only silent if there's an H after it, right? No, I'm just kidding. Something like that. But nice. Hang on. Start over. Not start over, but just keep up here. I forgot what I was saying.
We can start over.
Oh. So it's inundated with moving images of adult content. And so that's why Tumblr's become a major red flag on parental control stuff. Writing this article and sharing things about this article on my computer and my phone brought up yellow flag alerts on our accountability software that she was reading. She was like, everything you write gives me alerts, you know. And so, Tumblr, even just the word Tumblr is considered red flag in most adult content sites or filters in accountability software. So, but Apple has a thing that they do where if you have that kind of content readily available on your app, you have to have Safe Search automatically turned on before you can, or they'll deny your app access to iOS, the App Store. So Tumblr did that. It comes with, and so for a while, the Tumblr app on iPhone has been just naturally had Safe Search on. Well, the last week they installed a button to toggle off the Safe Search, and so because that's legal, according to Apple. So the issue there is that means pornography is readily available on that app. Now here's the biggest problem, is that switch is not in the parental control settings of iPhone, in the restrictions. It's in the app settings right there on the in the general settings. So there's no password to get to that on and off switch for Tumblr.
It's totally up to the user on the app.
Yeah, and so for a long time, Tumblr was one that I was like, yeah, you want to monitor what happens on Tumblr, you want to pay attention. But after this update, it's on my uninstall list. Like, I just recommend parents remove the app completely if they see it on their kids' phones, because there's no way to keep that Safe Search toggle on for them with a password or anything that they can't turn off. And if on a lot of stuff, Google or whatever, you're just a few clicks away from something inappropriate. On Tumblr, you're like one.
Yeah.
And just the wrong word, or if the word means something two different things and you didn't know one of them and it was inappropriate, you end up with that, And so you just have to be careful, because Tumblr's just full of that stuff.
And now Tumblr, like, for the parent out there that maybe doesn't even know what this app is for anyway, like, why are these kids downloading this app? Why does anybody care about what Tumblr is?
It's basically a microblogging app. So microblogging is like writing short things or posting it's mostly images and GIFs. And so it's posting those things. There's a lot of memes on there. There's a lot of geeky stuff on there where they post Star Wars images or Doctor Who or whatever. Coffee, like I followed, when I was using Tumblr more, I had a whole bunch of coffee people that I followed, and they take pictures of their fancy coffee things, And so it's that kind of thing. It's just like interest blogging.
And then they can make comments and stuff.
You can comment on it. You can reblog. Yeah, you reblog it, and that post, spreads it out. It's like makes things go viral, that sort of thing. But there are entire feeds in Tumblr dedicated to different types and styles of pornography, and so and it's just searchable with those terms, very easy, and find it. And the people that run Tumblr, it's kind of become their cash cow. A little bit. And so they're okay kind of with just being known for that. In fact, when I was doing research for this article, I was finding that they're telling their users how to get to it on iPhone before the Switch was available, and then they were super excited to share the Switch, to launch the Switch, because they wanted people to know, hey, you could turn the Safe Search off. Yeah, you're welcome, because they're even understanding what Tumblr is used for, even though that wasn't maybe their intention, but it's keeping them from going out of business,
Because was it more of, like, what I remember was more of like a geeky kind of thing. It was what it originally started.
It did originally start that way, kind of like a Reddit or something like that, which Reddit's got its dark places as well. But and not that you really know what Reddit is, but it was intended originally, I guess. I don't know if it was intended to, but it started out just being a regular place to blog, microblog, like an answer to Twitter, but not only text, because Twitter is microblogging, 120 characters, say your thoughts or your words, and some people use it like that, like the very short stories and the history Twitter accounts and things that do the short little versions of a blog post, basically. Well, this was the images, like the result of that in images. So that's what Tumblr kind of became. But then it just evolved. It kind of lost traction with Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat. it lost traction, but this is a way that they've been able to. They just have very lenient and soft policies when it comes to what's inappropriate on the site. And and it tells you, you can go in and turn safe search on if you don't want to see anything. So you just got to be careful. And Tumblr's, like I said, on my uninstall list, because that switch is there. And I'll just jump into this for a second. And I mentioned it last week, but I talk to psychologists and counselors and people like that all the time that deal with these issues. And it's detrimental to the young brain. Pornography is. It's detrimental to any brain over time. But to the young brain, it especially is. They're developing habits and tastes for things that will stick with them the rest of their lives. And they're finding that people who got involved in this at young ages are having a lot of trouble in their relationships and stuff. And so I recommend just uninstalling Tumblr on site and talking to your kids about why you don't think they should use it. And then if they really want to use Tumblr, then go to the Tumblr's website and try to contact Tumblr and say, hey, could you put that switch in the parental controls area or put a password on it or something? Because it's possible to do that, and they just need to make that happen. So
yeah.
So
it should be like any of the other things, like like with Netflix or something like that. There should be able to be like age settings or something.
Exactly, there should be, but Tumblr's just hasn't done that. And there's reasons for that, I'm sure. And so that's why it's on my uninstall list. You can see that whole list if you subscribe to our email, our weekly family tech blog email. Well, I send the top posts from the week every Friday at 6 p.m. and no more than that usually. Sometimes you might get a little bonus podcast thing or something here and there. Pretty much it's just every Friday at 6 p.m. And you can sign up for that at the bottom of this post at familytechblog.com or at the bottom of the homepage at familytechblog.com. So you can sign up and you can get our 5 uninstall now apps, and you can get a 10-step family checklist to help you with your internet safety at home. So that's free for just signing up for the email address or the email list. So anyway, we got one more topic we're going to chat about. I'm going to teach you how to keep yourself safe. I'm going to teach you how to keep your timeline on your social media, what you want to see. Won't that be nice? Yes. Okay, now I'm going to be your personal social media timeline coach. I'm going to talk to you about this, help you out. What's the worst thing about Facebook especially?
Not seeing what you want to see on your feed.
Yeah, and Instagram's pretty bad too now.
Yeah, I miss the days whenever it was just recent, because then I knew what I would see and what I wouldn't see when you went back through it. Yeah, and then Twitter's that way now too. They and here's the deals. They're all using algorithms. An algorithm is math. I knew I hated math.
Yeah, it tells a computer how to organize things, how to do its job. So this algorithm is telling these social media platforms how to organize your timeline and feed. And you got to understand how the algorithm works a little bit in order to get what you want out of it. Now, until recently, I've been very happy with how my social media feed has been. Recently, I have misbehaved a little, and I'm actually seeing the consequences of it. And so, let me explain. I'm going to give you a couple of, there's like 5 different tips I put on the blog post at familytechblog.com. But you can see, I'm going to give you like 3 of those now for sake of time and your attention. And yeah, it's hot in here. Yeah. So we need to open the door again so we can get some airflow. But here's a couple things that you need to remember. First off, you need to remember not to like and join pages and groups willy-nilly.
Yes.
You're going to start seeing, as soon as you like a page or you join a group, you're going to start seeing a lot of their content. The algorithm is going to feed you that content from that page in excess to begin with, to see what you like and don't like as it begins to develop how you want to see stuff from that page. So I'm a part of something like Doctor Who, which shares geeky stuff. So I used to like all the things on that but I'd comment on all the things on that, or I'd share it or whatever, because I wanted to see more of it. But then they started getting a little spoilery with episodes I hadn't seen yet, because I'm behind. But we get behind sometimes, and so I laid back and I stopped interacting with it as much, and so I don't see as much of it. Politics comes up, and you literally click up on the thing and say, "Go away! I don't want to see these." And eventually, it learns. But if you like a page, you're going to see stuff from that page. You just are. And if you join a group, you're going to see stuff, especially the groups.
Yeah.
You're going to see stuff from the groups. So don't join everything you see, or every friend that has a business from home that they're selling stuff. If you get annoyed by those posts, don't like their page.
Or you can like their page, just don't follow them.
And you cannot follow it.
Because there are some people who,
Right.
they would maybe be offended if you didn't like their group, but you don't necessarily have to see their stuff.
And on Twitter and on Instagram, just because somebody or something follows you doesn't mean you have to follow them back. Now, with something like BecauseFamily, I'm consistently following people back because I want them to follow us and I want to kind of network, because that's what it's for. But my personal one, I'm a lot more picky about who I follow, because I don't want to see everybody's everything all the time. And so you have to just remember that it's really what you do and who you follow and that sort of thing. So that's the first thing, is don't like and join every group on Facebook that you see. The second thing is don't mess with that like button. Leave the like button alone. And I know now you can make it a heart or a smiley face or something. And I know on Instagram you just have to ding ding, double tap, and it's like a beautiful heart. But if you like every single thing you see, or if you fall for the like if you love Jesus, share if you want to join him someday, if you fall into that category of people who fall for those things, you're going to start seeing a lot more of that kind of junk and stuff from the people who share that. So be careful with that like button. And here's what I did. A little over 2 years ago, I swore off the like button completely. And I said, I will not like anything on Facebook. If I want to interact with it, I will comment or I will share. But I will not click like, period. If it's not worth a comment, it's not worth my involvement. And it took a couple months, but my feed started getting a lot better. Because I only was seeing, and you would even see that, because you'd sit down with me, or I'd share something on Facebook that was cute or funny or whatever, and you'd be like, how do you see this stuff on Facebook? All I have is crap. And I say, because you're hitting that like button. And that was all I changed.
I stopped using the like button, and I still was seeing a bunch of junk, but I'm having to do other things.
Yeah, and sometimes you do have to literally just go in and clean stuff up, and just click the little
down arrow, or I had to
go
say,
don't show me this
see
anymore.
Less of.
Yeah.
Because sometimes there's just always that one person that you don't even know that well, but you're friends with them, but you're suddenly seeing everything they post.
Yeah, and it's probably because they didn't
and
post on Facebook for an eternity, and then all of a sudden they start sharing all the time, and you're like, where did all these come from? And so the algorithm's feeding you all the stuff that they're doing to see what you think about it, to see if you want to see more of it. And so you just see more. So I recommend just leaving the like button alone unless you want to see a lot more from that person, because for some reason the algorithm it reads those likes more than anything, and it's a subscribe button. Just think of it that way. If I click like, I'm subscribing to everything this person says on Facebook, or everything that they post on Instagram, or even everything that they post on Twitter. So be careful with the like button. Then recently, that's where I failed, because they've added the cool emojis, and so I like to put the laughy face or the heart.
How does that work out now that you can like somebody's comment like that?
It's not as bad, because here's the deal:
it's like a comment.
If you're in a comment, you're reading comments and all that stuff, you're into it enough that when you like the comment, it is going to tell it to show you more, but it's most likely the kind of thing you want to see anyway. Because you're involved enough in it to even be reading the comments, or you're liking a comment somebody posted about you or to you.
So what you're saying is you wouldn't necessarily have to not ever use the like button.
Sure.
You're just saying don't like something as a oh look at you button.
Yeah. And I swore off of it.
You really need the like.
I did a like button detox. I mean, it's like drinking the green juice. I did a like button detox. I said, killing the like button until further notice, because I want to just do a spring cleaning of my, and it really worked. It really did. And I'm still thoughtful when I go in and click even the heart or this. I like the laughy face on stuff that's funny. But if it's funny stuff, I probably want to see more of it anyway. If they usually share that. So
what you're telling them, you don't have to necessarily, maybe you do need to do a little like detox.
Maybe 6 months.
But think of it as I want to see more of this type of thing button.
Yeah, think of it as
more
subscription.
Than oh, that's a cute little picture.
Right. Oh, I like it. Because like is so non-committal, that word. But on Facebook, it's very much a commitment. So you've got to be careful. And on Instagram and Twitter, too. Very much a commitment. Now, Snapchat does not have an algorithm. So Snapchat is all timed, like when it's posted. So these don't really apply to them because there's no algorithm to determine when you're going to see what. And we all complain about the algorithms when they change it. Oh, I hate the thing. And then we forget about it and move on. But there's a way to manipulate it. So one of the major issues with seeing too much clutter in your feed is you're trying to follow somebody specifically like your child, your teenager, and you want to see what they're doing. And you don't want to see all the other junk because it gets in the way. So they do have Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. They have these options to see them first. See what they post like first. So I recommend using that. Now, I do have a tutorial on how to set that up, a video, at Family Tech Weekly, not FamilyTechWeekly.com. It's FamilyTechBlog.com. So if you go to FamilyTechBlog.com and you look at the tutorials tab, the drop down, it should still be in the main featured ones there. And it's got a little rainbowy looking thing. And anyway, it's the notifications one. Open that, watch that. It's going to teach you how to set to see first on Facebook or to get notifications when your kids post on Instagram or something like that, because you're going to want to use that feature to help you see that stuff first. And it's also going to populate your feed, at least on Facebook, it's going to populate your feed more frequently with the stuff that you want to see, and it's going to clump it all together in one post that you click on it, and it shows a bunch of the things that they did recently, so you're not going to miss out. So
and you're going to get everything of theirs too. So if you want pictures, you also might have to get Great Aunt Susie's political post too.
Yeah, that might be true. If you want to follow Great Aunt Susie, you may get the, you know, her gluten-free diet posts, as well as the photos of her cute grandkids. You know, you gotta, you know, you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater sometimes.
Yeah, you don't get to choose what you see first from a person.
No, you can't do that.
It's just you see that person before other people.
Exactly. So go take control. Take control of what you see. Clean it up so that you can see more from your kids. Use the follow stuff or the see first options. And we're going to get out of your way and let you go do that. Thank you, honey, for sitting with me on this beautiful but toasty day. And we're gonna go now. But remember to follow us on Instagram and on Facebook and on all the things that we do, YouTube and all the places. And BecauseFamily.org, you can learn about how we do workshops and how we help parents and how to give to our ministry and donate. And if you go to FamilyTechBlog.com, that is your website to learn about all these tech things. So thanks, honey. I love you.
Do you want to tell people we talked about the
Hushathon? Yes, we completed it.
We did it.
Tell them about it.
It was fun. We started out the actual silent time with 2 hours pledged or paid for, and Michael started a live feed about half hour or so, 45 minutes.
40 minutes before we finished.
Before we finished, and
before the time,
some very loving friends and family jumped in.
They
and
wanted me to shut up.
At 2
That's
minutes
not loving.
to the end, they donated some more to be able to add to his time. So we ended up going about 3.5 hours. And,
total, yeah.
Raised about $750. So thank you to all of our people who gave and pledged. And
that's right.
We will definitely do that again next year because that was a fun fundraiser, and we'll see if we can get him to go a little longer. Yeah, so thank you for those who donated, and for those who didn't, you still can. I just won't shut up about it or because of it this time. So that's at BecauseFamily.org and FamilyTechBlog.com. Thank you again for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.